Hi, I'm Stan Moot at CTO at IABM, and I've got a couple of industry experts here today, particularly on the broadcast quality monitoring and compliance logging side. And that industry's been around for a while, but there's some really cool stuff that's happening here. So let me bring in Keith and Ken. Thank you for talking to me today.
Thanks,
It's our
Stan.
pleasure, Stan. Thank you for having us.
So between the two of you, you've got over 60 years of experience within the industry on this, and about half the time, you've been working in the broadcast quality monitoring and compliance logging side. So I know both of you were at Volleycon for about 10 years, and then you were in some other companies that some did monitoring, some didn't, but still within the same industry for a few years. And then now you arrived at Actus Digital together. Ken, tell me about that, Ken.
Well, there's been several companies that have come and gone in this space, most notably Volleycon, like you mentioned, but Axon and Snapstream and others. Actus has been delivering the same product since 2005, incorporating feedback and feature requests along the way. So today we have the absolute best solution on the market. I can tell you from experience, it's much better to represent the long-standing market leader with the best system than it is to offer something that lacks reliability or is overpriced. The main reason I'm here is because customers absolutely love Actus and they consider it the best value in the market.
And I'll echo what Ken said. What really attracted to me was their reliability. They've been in this space for 17 years and really doing this space in this industry. They've been doing it really well with the core features that broadcast engineers just love, right? But they also have the vision to leverage those core competencies of recorded video and expand the platform with features that just really appeal to companies beyond the media and entertainment space.
So Keith, tell me a little bit about that. So what features that take Actus beyond engineering?
Sure. Well, the Actus software, which is called the Actus Intelligent Media Monitoring Platform, goes well beyond traditional compliance and monitoring tasks, right? Well, we coach our customers how to fully leverage the power of recorded video. And once you integrate that with really rich metadata, and you start to realize unique benefits of our solution. Let me give you just a couple examples, right? First is our Actus Clip Factory Pro, right? It's an Actus feature that provides advanced clipping and clip generation for consistent editing of clips, adding pre-roll, post-roll, graphic overlays, really preparing media for quick re-airing or repurposing in that original quality back to the linear broadcast, video on demand, or transcoding it, for publishing or to a platform for social media. And what's even better for all of this is that any of the instructions for clip preparation that can be saved in profiles or templates to make it even super easy, really, to come back and create that same profile for that same destination, whether it's selecting clips or a template or just to simply execute it. So every time they produce consistent high quality video, they don't have to tie up extreme editing bay or an editor. It's all done incredibly fast, and as you know, being first to market is really important nowadays, right? So most times they're beating their competitors to things like breaking news on digital media. And with the integration of, for a second one, for our integration with AI, our customers can now generate and add levels of metadata that they never could before. And so that's all to the acquired video, right? And there are many sources of additional metadata, things like speech to text for content that doesn't have closed captions on it, right? Facial recognition, optical character recognition, and scene or object detection, right? This additional metadata is timestamped and merged with the Actus database of video and associated back with that original recorded video. So they can now do advanced searching on any combination of this metadata and uses Actus automation features for that media asset management like benefits without the heavy expense of that traditional MAM systems that they're in-house.
So are these a major part of the business, and what other types of companies deploy these extended features? Ken?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the fastest growing part of our business. We're seeing customers like News Nation, which is from Nexstar. They're a wholly owned cable network reaching 75 million US homes. They're sourcing original quality content for programming with systems in both Chicago and New York, and using our system to capture those. There are a lot of other outside of engineering use cases, political use cases using our ad match for content matching. And I don't want to overstate it, because by far the largest portion of our sales each year come from TV stations and broadcasters looking for those core set of compliance and monitoring features. An example is our multi-viewer that alerts where there are quality issues, and not just with anything that threatens their FCC or other regulatory compliance, like missing captions or COM Act violations, but things like frozen or missing video, audio that's too loud or low or missing, any other things like pixelization or color bars appearing on air. There's a lot of different issues that we alert on and log.
Yeah, and more customers are having us build customized systems so they can start really probing any point in the video supply chain. Maybe at the point where they receive it from SDI, or where it comes from post encoder as a ASI or transport stream, or maybe it's even post transmitter where it's a 8VSB, a DVB-T2 signal, or ATSC 3.0 signal, from something that's, again, over the air. But we could also take in content from the local cable companies so they can see their returns coming back in. So whether it's from a set-top box or from a satellite dish, we could also see those. Or they can also record content, their OTT content, maybe an HLS or a dash feed. So really, they can get to see content really from anywhere, from camera all the way to almost customer eyeballs.
Yeah. And, one of the new Actus unique features that really will be helpful, I think, for customers that have so many different sources or different points in the delivery train that they're monitoring, or they're using OTT, which has many renditions. That's our new synchro feature. It organizes all of the channels that are being monitored, and with just a button press, you can then pull all those channels up at the same time to view them. And you'll see immediately which ones are having issues. So you can see where in the delivery chain you're having an issue, or inside of an OTT 6 or 7 renditions, which renditions are having problems.
Yeah. And it's key for engineers because it helps them immediately see where the issues exist. And more importantly, it's where they're being introduced so they can quickly remedy them.
So these are some real cool features, like you just mentioned, Clip Factory Pro and Synchro. So what's driving the core business success you're having? Go ahead, Ken.
I'm glad you asked it that way, because it is easy to get excited about some of the cool new things we do. But the truth is, the success, the vast majority of it is coming from our customers, over 600 now, that are purchase Actus systems, that are just looking for those engineering quality assurance needs. We meet 100% of those compliance and monitoring needs. We're extremely reliable. And so I think that's a big factor for a lot of people making a decision about these systems. The 24/7 support from our technical centers here in the US, in Europe, and in Asia. We are answering the phone with Actus employees 24 hours a day. And many times it comes down to price. And so while Actus has always led not only in quality of product and support, maintaining the lowest price has also been one of the Actus trademarks. And let's face it, it's not often when a customer can get the best product with the best support for the best price. And so they turn to Actus.
Well, certainly with 600 customers, that shows that your customer service is key, and that's working. So can you give me some examples of all those customers, Ken?
Yeah, sure. Some of the larger ones that come to mind right away include ION, which is now owned by Scripps. They put Actus systems in each of their stations in 70 different markets. Plus, at the Network Operations Center, they have a large multi-viewer looking at all those channels. The Weather Channel, a pay TV channel that is also deployed a large Actus deployment. After doing an extensive research of the all systems on the market, they felt Actus was the best value for them. TV Global in Brazil, one of the world's largest media conglomerates, they also standardized on Actus at all their locations. Again, after a big shootout amongst all the vendors. There are hundreds of TV stations, big ones in the markets in the US, New York, Chicago, LA, DC are using Actus, but also a lot of small stations and PBS stations like from great small markets like WTCI in Chattanooga, and WLNS in Lansing, and KARK in Little Rock, KTBS in Shreveport. There's a whole lot of those smaller market stations that just find a tremendous value in their Actus system. And then outside of stations, there's a lot of non-station examples. I mentioned News Nation, also run by Nexstar, but they're using that system for taking the original quality feeds of many channels out of New York and Chicago, and then using Actus Clip Factory Pro to organize them, review them, and select the clips that they then use to edit and go back to air with. Encompass Digital Media is another non-station type of customer, but while they have now in Stanford and Atlanta, plus overseas, dozens of systems monitoring about 600 channels throughout their Encompass facilities. What other fun use cases? Oh yeah, Woodbine racetracks in Canada and upstate New York. Horse racing tracks, they found a good use for our systems. A couple Wall Street firms like TD Waterhouse, Ameritrade, and Goldman Sachs use our systems. Comcast is a big user. A lot of international companies, B Sky B, Fox Sports, BBC, MediaCorp, Disney, Sony. There's so many others.
Oh, if we were talking about, we could be here all day talking about, the rest of our companies. But it's really worth mentioning how many customers are using us for political or commercial comparison and government media regulation. The EMMC, which is kind of like the FCC of India, monitors over 1,000 channels with the Actus Intelligent Media Monitoring Platform, right? I mean, 1,000 channels. And we are just the standard for other government regulators all over the world. Hong Kong, Pakistan, Aruba, Singapore, Cameroon, Uganda, Slovenia, and just many others also.
That's an impressive customer list you guys have there. That's really cool. I mean, right down to the racetrack that's just up the road from me here in Toronto. That's really great. So we're just about out of time here. Keith, did you have something else you might want to add?
Thanks, Dan. Yeah. So for everybody watching to know that not only do we deliver a turnkey systems, meeting any input format requirements at all the current standards, but we also provide software-only solutions. We can deploy on servers, on virtual machines, in private or public cloud instances. We are extremely flexible to support all of these environments in various hybrid combinations and really any input.
Yeah, our flexibility is a good point, Keith. I think not just in the technical side, but also on financial concerns. We have customers that have always preferred CapEx purchases, and that's great. But more often now we're having OpEx rentals and SaaS deployments that customers prefer to deploy systems in those manners.
Well, that's great for the viewers to know, especially that you're into the cloud and virtual world. Yeah. You don't have to have a piece of hardware sitting there. So absolutely fantastic to see there. So we're, as I said, we're just about out of time. Anything else you want to add in there, Ken?
Yeah, thanks again for your time, Stan. And I'd just like to encourage anyone with the legacy Volleycon system to take a look at Actus. I know Volleycon's having some issues, even though the company's no longer selling the product. Now the Log4j is a vulnerability that all Volleycon systems are susceptible to. So it's a good time to look at Actus. Keith or I can host an online demo for you. I'd be happy to explain our super affordable pricing, very easy to understand. And I think if you take the opportunity to consider Actus and you take a look at us, you'll understand why so many have flocked to Actus recently. And you may just end up being our next happy Actus customer.
Well, if you're looking for, the industry's top quality monitoring and compliance logging system, these are the guys to talk to, and go over to actusdigital.com. Thanks again for watching, and thanks, Ken and Keith, for joining me today.
Thanks, Dan. It's a pleasure.
Who cares about monitoring? Broadcast engineers care about quality, both on air and online. Management cares about FCC compliance, things like loudness and captions. Operations teams need a reliable air check they can count on. News teams need to compare themselves to the competition, and sales teams need to do quick ad verification, while they would love to have some prioritized lead lists. You know your CFO cares about total cost of ownership. At Actus Digital, we care about you. Affordable, quality assurance, compliance logging, and so much more.